Hey guys, before I get started, I just want to say, we started this channel a couple of months ago and the response has been great so far. You guys are awesome and we want to do something nice for you, so make sure you stay tuned to the end of this video to find out what we have in store. This video is brought to you by PALIT. PALIT is well known for manufacturing stable, excellent and innovative graphics accelerators. Learn more about PALIT in the link below. So the RTX 2070 Super has been out for a couple of months now, and we've had the chance to test a number of them from different manufacturers. I've got one here from PALIT. We honestly don't know why they're not more popular in Singapore, because they do make awesome products like this RTX 2070 Super Jetstream here with me. Now, PALIT used to have a range of cards called the Super Jetstream, so don't confuse this card with the older RTX 2070 Super Jetstream. This here is an RTX 2070 Super. It's just the Jetstream model. So you'll find it on Google as the RTX 2070 Super JS. Like all other 2070 Supers, this card is based on Nvidia's Turing architecture, comes with 8GB of VRAM, 2560 CUDA cores, and it's loaded with all the fancy RTX features like real-time ray tracing, tensor cores, DLSS, and so on. Let's unbox this card and get right to the awesome peeling. The card itself has a pretty thick heatsink covered by a shroud that does light up with RGB when powered, all controllable by PALIT's Thunder Master utility. The color of the RGB can be configured to change according to the graphics card temperature, along with other modes and effects. You also see two 95mm fans. According to PALIT's website, these are their Turbo Fan 2.0, which are inspired by the power of jet engines and are designed to improve cooling performance with lower noise and higher air pressure. Now onto the back. You'll see a solid aluminum backplate that's got the words Jetstream printed on. Underneath, it looks like the copper heat pipes run through the heatsink and are all cooled by the fans we saw earlier. Now, the Jetstream branding is also visible on the card's front side along with the words GeForce RTX, reminding you of the awesome card you've got. What's interesting here is this little switch that controls the dual BIOS feature on this card. Flipping it to number 2 engages the 0 decibel fan mode. In this mode, fans only start to spin when the card hits 60 degrees Celsius, delivering super quiet performance. Display outputs are pretty standard with one HDMI 2.0 and 3 DP 1.4 outputs. It is a 2.7 slot card, so if you've got additional PCIe slots or are a small form factor user, you'll want at least a 3 slot clearance for this card. Now, because there's so many 2070 Supers in the market, we're going to compare this with the most premium, top of the line ASUS STRIX card to see if there's any difference in performance for the amount of money you're paying. For perspective, you're paying 200 Singapore dollars, that's about 150 US dollars, more for the STRIX card that has the same VRAM, very similar boost clocks, 1815 MHz for PALIT and 1830 MHz for STRIX. Now, considering both these cards can be overclocked manually, does the STRIX Premium still make sense, or will the PALIT suffice? Let's find out. We tested the PALIT RTX 2070 Super Jetstream against the ASUS ROG STRIX RTX 2070 Super Advanced Edition on our test bench. We used the Intel Core i5-8600K on stock clocks with an ASUS ROG STRIX Z370F gaming motherboard and a total of 32GB of Corsair Vengeance Pro RGB running at 3200 MHz. Windows 10 Home version 1903 was running off a 512GB NVMe SSD, and we used the latest Nvidia driver 436.30. We housed all this on our Streacom BC1 open bench table, so you get an idea of the card's raw thermal performance. Take note that this is an open test bench, so your performance may differ when using a regular chassis. We put each card through 4 tests: Unigine Superposition, 3D Mark Time Spy, as well as the Shadow of the Tomb Raider built-in benchmark, and Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers benchmark. We're still building our repository of tests, but for now, this mixture of synthetic and real-world benchmarks will allow us to observe the performance of the cards under various sorts of loads, as well as measure thermal performance. Each test was run 3 times, and the simple average was taken. Since minimum and maximum FPS are usually unreliable outliers, we'll focus on reporting the average FPS and the 1% lows, as well as benchmark scores where applicable. Let's take a look at the results. On 3D Mark Times By, the Jetstream scored 10,513 points, while the STRIX scored 10,349 points, translating to a 1.58 percentage point lead for the Jetstream. Now, on Unigene's superposition, the Jetstream scored 6,530 points, while the STRIX scored 6,370 points, translating to a 2.51 percentage point lead for the Jetstream. It looks like the PALIT card is doing quite well, on synthetic benchmarks at least. On 2, the Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers official benchmark, the Jetstream scored 18,830 points, while the STRIX scored 18,766 points, putting the Jetstream in a slight 0.34 percentage point lead. FPS-wise, the Jetstreams achieved an average of 166 frames per second, while the STRIX achieved an average of 165 FPS. On 1% lows, they both achieved 73 FPS. Performance for both cards look quite similar on this benchmark. Now, the Shadow the Tomb Raider benchmark doesn't give us benchmark scores, but the Jetstream did clock in with an average of 155 FPS, which is 6 FPS higher than the STRIX's 149 FPS, giving it a 4 percentage point lead. On 1% lows, the Jetstream outperformed the STRIX as well, with 93 FPS compared to the STRIX's 88 FPS, making the PALIT a more consistent performer. In an ambient of about 23 degrees Celsius, idle temperatures were recorded at 30 degrees Celsius for the Jetstream and 28 degrees Celsius for the STRIX. After running firm up for 30 minutes, we recorded the maximum temperatures of 62 degrees Celsius for the Jetstream and 56 degrees Celsius for the STRIX. This was expected since the STRIX has 3 fans, whereas the Jetstream has 2, but it's good to note that neither card reached throttling temperatures even on load. Idle noise levels were 44 decibels on the Jetstream and 43 decibels on the STRIX. On load, the Jetstream hit 48 decibels, while the STRIX hit 47 decibels. Personally, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference between these two cards merely by listening to them, even less so if the cards were used in a regular enclosed chassis. Granted, the STRIX is a slightly cooler and quieter card, but FPS is the critical metric when it comes to performance, and as we've seen, the PALIT doesn't disappoint. The PALIT RTX 2070 Super Jetstream outperformed the STRIX on all the 4 benchmarks we threw at it, although to be frank, I wouldn't be able to identify which card was which in a blind performance test. Coupled with the fact that the Jetstream costs 300 Singapore dollars less than the STRIX, that's about 200 US dollars, and has 5 years of warranty, which is 2 years more than most other graphics cards, I'd say this makes it a no-brainer. If you're an ROG fan, by all means, take the STRIX. It's not a bad card by any metric, maybe except its price. Otherwise, the 2070 Super Jetstream from PALIT still makes for a very decent graphics card for gaming at 1080p, and I'd expect very decent performance up to 1440p, as with any other 2070 Super. Now, the moment you've been waiting for. We're going to be giving away this exact graphics card. It's worth 788 Singapore dollars, last I checked at least. That's about 570 US dollars, so big thanks to PALIT for making this possible. To participate, all you need to do is comment on this video, any comment will do, like this video, subscribe to our channel, and make sure you're following us on our Facebook and Instagram pages. The links are below. This giveaway is only applicable to people residing within Singapore, and we'll announce the winner of the giveaway in the mid of November, so make sure to get your entry in by then. Until then, may the RNG gods be with you. Give us a thumbs up if you liked this video, and thumbs down if you didn't. If you want to see more giveaways like this one, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for more videos like this. We'll see you in the next one. Stay frosty.